Hi there, Tommy Larkin here, and welcome to today's Tweak of the Week. This week we look at the foot placement in our standing poses as a pickup from where we left off in lunge last week. Welcome back, and thank you for joining me today. Now, as I mentioned in the little quick intro, we're talking about how the feet position on the mat from lunge into our standing pose position. And that today I want to really talk about not just where the feet are in relationship to lunge, but also how the back foot, and if I just get a little bit more here like a little standing pose, most people think, oh, it just needs to be there parallel, or I see a lot of times the toes turning out because they think, oh, that feels more stable. But in reality, the toes need to be drawn in so the foot is at an angle, about an inch distance between the toes and the heel to the back of that mat, right? Now, the reason for that is it keeps the back leg in a neutral alignment. So if we stand in Tadasana, even with the feet apart, the hips line up down to the knees to the ankles, and we want to maintain that position as best we can in a neutral form in all our poses really, but particularly here in the standing poses for today's tweak, in that when you separate the feet and you rotate out the front foot, right, the back foot, it puts a tension across the front of the hip that's not great for the knee, especially if your hip is tight. So that little drop of the heel puts this leg back in a more neutral alignment. Now when we bend the knee, and this is just a quick illustration, it actually helps us, like in a warrior two position, to put the proper tension and torquing in our leg to create strength in the inner thigh and across the leg and calf, right, as we open up. So we have to create this dynamic tension here. When we go into a more warrior one position, it means we have to really ground in that back leg, and that creates the right amount of torsion and tension to elicit a driving up as we press down. So just as a quick example. But really, the next level is that short stance I just showed is not beneficial. It actually puts tensions in the body where we don't need them. Working from that full length of the stance is the best place to gain this from. So let's look at that. In our lunge, we had that the knee is in line over the ankle, right? And the thigh, so let me go to the left side here just so you can see. So the knee's in line over the ankle, and the thigh, we're working towards being from the hip joint to the knee joint parallel to the ground. So it's not the top of the thigh, though. That can be a fairly decent guide, which is really that middle of the leg. And the back heel is in line over the toes, give or take a small amount, and that back thigh is engaging and lifting. Now, in the standing poses, what we're looking at is the front foot stays where it is, but that back foot, we want the center of the foot, right here, if we look at the front foot, we want the center, about where the ankle comes in line over the sole of the foot. We want that where the big toe is. So we want to position that foot such that we didn't change the length in our stance, right? And then if we straighten the front leg and just come up to standing for ease, you can see in my back foot how the toes are turned about an inch closer to the front foot than the back of the mat. And that's pretty much the ideal position you want, right? So let me switch back to the right side so you can see a little bit better here, right? So here we set up in our lunge. Here's the lunge. We pivot the back heel down so that the base of the big toe is about where that big toe, or the center of the foot is back where that big toe is, and we'll come up and say warrior one, right? Now, I can't bend that knee that much, and you can even see for me I have some tightness in my hips here. Then you just straighten the leg more, right? But this is the best place to be, because when you get here, you now have space to grow into the pose, whether it be warrior two or warrior one, triangle, side angle pose, it doesn't matter. If you, say for instance, shorten your stance here, so the knee's in line over the ankle still, once I get this in my body, this is not healthy for the front knee to continue to move forward. This is the only way you can gain depth in the pose. So this is the reason why we want to be in that position of lunge with our feet, right? And again, important that back foot, toes are turned in about, it's 15-ish degrees, it's about an inch, right? If we moved into full squared up hips, the toes would turn in even more, right? Only when we come to our squat positions are the toes going to start to turn out, because that's the line of the thigh as a comparison. So I hope that is benefit to you today, and you can try that in your poses. Feel free to comment to me how that worked for you, or if you have questions about it, I'm happy to answer those in that comment section below there in YouTube. So there you go. I hope you'll gain great benefits from today's work. If you have any questions or thoughts about this tweak or any previous one, let me know. Put your question or thought in the comments of the specific tweak and I'll get back to you. Also, if you like today's tweak, I'd appreciate you hitting that like button below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Plus, check out our website and follow us on social media for other inspiration and great ways to enhance your vital energy. You'll find those links in the description below. As always, thank you so much for joining me today, and until next time, have an amazing week and be excellent to each other.